Yes, I'd like to document what I think is an amazing astral travel experience. My name is Sean Ferriero from RedeemingTruth.com, and here, let's get right into it. Okay, well, now I did my best to just take an hour or two to grab a bunch of pictures and what I could off my computer to try to make this video a little entertaining for you. As our eternal soul gets enveloped within our young bodies, it takes years of physical growing to maximize the soul's potential. Using a mere 10% of our brain limits the soul's eyesight, decreasing the color spectrum. Therefore, as I entered into the spiritual world, the colors were absolutely amazing. Colors I never knew existed before. Now, I've only had 2 minor astral projection experiences prior to this prominent one, which I need to share, primarily for educational purposes. It's been a truly enlightening experience. Only the fool speaks to others, declaring we possess no souls. And then, of course, we have the ruling class, the financial elite, who apprehend the existence of our souls, yet they spread their lies, claiming this to be the truth not. All the while, they devote themselves to these extreme versions of the occult in Judaism, their own little Luciferian religion. They are corrupt and their ways are vile. Out of them, there is no good. Now that I got that out of the way, let's turn to the night of January 25th, 2019, when my true self left the confines of my physical body. I was flying, and as I began gaining altitude, I started to feel like I was God himself looking down from the heavens. I know it's strange, but that's what I was perceiving at the time, like I was looking down on mankind, on my creation, to see if there was any more believers, people who knew they had eternal souls or believed in God. I felt like that everybody had turned away from God, that they all became corrupt. Or maybe it was just me who's corrupt for engaging in this practice and even having such thoughts. I can't remember if anything else occurred before I actually remembered my goal from the physical world. At one point, I knew that I wanted to visit a few places, one being the Giza Plateau, I believe it's called, the Giza Pyramids in Egypt. So, anyhow, I thought about them. But it was strange because instead, something else took place. So, I now became overwhelmed with dread. Just absolute fear. A feeling that I thought I, personally, would never feel. I've learned not to let this happen, or at least been taught this, or educated myself this, that I'll only feed into, say, an evil entity. I only feed into them with these thoughts of fear. I'm supposed to remember that I'm already granted dominionship over all. I'm supposed to remember to defeat them by spreading love. But these thoughts never entered my mind. So anyways, I see this hideous creature. I think dozens more stood behind him, all close together like an army. But this area was all dark and fuzzy. It seemed as if my heightened vision in the astral realm faded right when I needed it the most. This thing was a human hybrid, if you will. It had one human head, but the face had funny features. I can't quite remember, but I know that it was different. But next to it, there was a dragon's head. It had a longer neck protruding from the body, right next to the other one. It had a large mouth, was open, with the lizard tongue, I remember. It was funny because I never made the comparison to Satan, being the dragon. It was a red dragon too. Well, I guess if I ever squared off face to face with Satan, I would know. Because that's how things typically work in the spiritual world. Somehow you know things as they're facts. Now, I'm real surprised, mostly due to my lack of experience, that I wasn't thrusted back within the confines of my physical body, lying still back in the third dimension. But that's not what happened. I looked down and I saw this very small but bright light. It was as if the ground was too dark for me to see. Or I guess, really, I was too far away to see any detail. This one bright light stuck out. So I focused my thoughts on going towards it. And I didn't just quite appear there, like most people say. But I did not feel myself descending down there either. I did appear, I appeared closer, much closer. And then from there, I descended down a little bit. And it's amazing because where I was at the Giza Plateau. I think that's what they call it. I was at the Giza Pyramids in Egypt. I now saw the most amazing sight. The 3 infamous pyramids of Egypt were shining bright white. Maybe it was more like an off-white, but bright. I guess it resembled like looking at Italian marble. And I knew exactly what this was. Because the pyramids, a long time ago, used to be all smooth and have a white coating over them. This has fallen away, or has been stripped off. We don't see it in the present day. Therefore, when people claim that these great pyramids were built by extraterrestrials, well, I don't know about that, but we can imagine how much they must have truly looked like alien technology, really futuristic to the people of antiquity. And I saw them, and they looked absolutely amazing. I had now traveled back in time. Now, as if seeing these pyramids, what they looked like thousands of years ago, there's something else that still has my mind perplexed. Because I saw the humanoid figure with the dog's head. You see the pictures in Egypt, the paintings and the carvings. Looks like a Doberman Pinscher's head on a human body. And it was strange because I'm not sure if I recognize it or not, but I know that. I've seen those paintings a million times. And that's what I saw. And that's who I saw. And I went down, I was right in front of him. And he was interacting, he was moving. It was absolutely unbelievable. He was huge too. He was far bigger than me. Not bigger than you would say 20 feet, but he was twice as big as me. At least he was big. It was absolutely amazing. So later on, when I woke up the next morning, I had to do some research and figure out what it was that I just saw. So, this Egyptian god is called an Anubis. This I did not know before, but now I know why. You may see these basic pictures, you've seen of them before, although he did not look so gentle to me. We have one here where I believe he's weighing someone's soul or their heart to that of a feather before he brings them into the afterlife. Now, what I saw was a more realistic, frightening version. And I tried to find some photographs that reminded me of what I saw. These are more like it. Not quite what I saw, but this gives you the picture. Now I understand why they were painting this, why they thought this was an Egyptian god. I mean, the Egyptians were big into astral traveling. The pyramids were all built, with quartz crystal and dolomite, where they could go in there and leave their body and travel to the astral realm they perceived as the afterlife, trying to learn how to die while they were still alive. And so this figure, I mean, they really did see this figure. They might not have saw him walking on the 3D earth, but this is why. Now I understand why they have these paintings. This just absolutely blew my mind. I couldn't believe I saw the same Egyptian god that the Egyptians of antiquity used to see and worship themselves. The only letdown here is nothing much happened. I thought he was going to be violent towards me. Then I thought he was being welcoming. And then I either panicked or whatnot. I don't know, because I ended up back in my body. I'm one who's very wary of astral traveling, who's concerned about demonic oppression. I don't live the totally heightened lifestyle I would need to be safe. Jesus is in my life, though because of others I've watched, listened to, and learned about this astral traveling, I was able to go back into maybe even pre-antiquity and contact an Egyptian god. By the way, the Egyptians, you can read, go to redeemtruth.com, you can read like the Tibetan Book of the Dead and the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's what I mean about learning how to die by traveling the astral realm. If anyone has more information or wants to comment on this, or any facts or anything else I can learn, my ears are open. So leave messages on my page or contact me at redeemingtruth.com or verity.webstarts.com. Thank you.